Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Witcher 2. We are very close to the end. At least I think we're very close to the end. Last time we asked Letho what happened to Yennefer. And now we're gonna ask him the rest of the things, and then we're probably gonna have to fight him, which is gonna be a hard fight? Maybe?
How did you know where we'd find the Wild Hunt?
Every Witcher who wears the viper around his neck knows the place. We had so many books and scrolls about the hunt that I used to think our school was founded for the very purpose of solving the riddle of the spectral riders.
Know who they are? You know the true identities of the riders?
From what I understand, they're some damn elven race. But they turned out to be a big ruse. The legendary omen of war proved to be a fairground attraction.
No Market Square mage could possibly conjure up a cavalcade of wraiths speeding across the sky. Then there's the amnesia. No, there's something more, I assure you.
Go ahead, enlighten me. I can tell you want to.
There are a lot of legends and myths about it, but the Wild Hunt is a fact. I've fought and killed many of its wraiths. They were spectral emanations, the avatars of real riders. The riders we ran into by the Hanged Man's Tree.
Are you telling me you were carried off by elves? Real material sons of bitches like the ordinary kind we deal with in this world?
They may be ordinary in their world, but they're strangers in ours. The conjunction of spheres. Know the theory? Do you know how monsters appeared in our world?
There's not a Witcher who doesn't know that.
Sure.
So you know there are other spheres. The most powerful of our mages can open passages between these worlds, and they usually do that to summon the monsters we then have to hunt. The elves we saw come from another world, and they weren't summoned. They found the way on their own. It's not exactly easy, so they usually send their spectral emanations. They come in person on special missions.
As they did for you and Yennefer.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So, elves from another world and their trained wraiths. What did they want from you?
I've got an idea, but that's not your concern.
You got an idea? You could enlighten me. When did you become an Imperial spy?
How did a Witcher agree to kill humans at another human's bidding?
At the Emperor's bidding, Geralt. And he's no ordinary human. The rulers of the North come up to about where his poleans end.
Why?
Simple. He promised to rebuild the School of the Viper, the Witcher's order where I came to be. Witcher's schools in the south fell into ruin long ago, and Witchers themselves became internal exiles, banned from entering most cities.
Well, that's even
Besides
worse than in the
Sereth
north.
and Ox, I know of 2 other Witchers of the School of the Viper who should be alive and on the path. I don't know where they are. Haven't seen them for years. Now they can come out of hiding. They can come home.
I doubt it's gonna happen, though.
Why are you still here? Why did you wait for me this time?
I knew you wouldn't give up. I knew you'd pursue me. And I don't aim to hide anymore. Fact is, only you know the truth about me. Well, and a couple of folks whose word isn't worth spit anymore. I never saw you as a foe. I want to go my way. But if I have to fight you first, so be it. This story ends here and now.
Does it now? Well, if I don't have to fight you, I don't want to fight you either.
Care to tell me what it was all about?
Kill as many rulers as we could. Lay the blame on the sorceresses. Breed chaos. Prepare the North. Soften it before the invasion.
Okay, that's
You know
kind of
what's
shitty for you.
incredible? We could not have imagined more fertile soil. No matter what the war's outcome, the northern monarchs will accuse one another. Pursue their God-given rights. Seek vengeance and be at each other's throats for years to come. The
Yeah,
North
sadly, that's
resembles
true.
a whorehouse on fire, as your friend Dandelion would say.
I need to know the whole picture. I'm still curious about the assassinations. Oh, wow. Damn, you can ask him a lot.
How did you manage to contact Sheila?
It wasn't a problem once I learned of the Lodge's existence. Initially, she watched my every move. But sooner or later, everyone starts treating me like a big oaf. I mean, I can't change how I look. I stayed close to Sheila, killed a few beasts for her, and whined about how unhappy I was, how unfair the world was. So much, in fact, that I actually got her gander up a few times. I made sure a few potentially trustworthy witnesses saw us together, could link us. Security in case I was captured. I also prepared to assassinate the King of Kazther. Esterad Tyson was to be the first victim of the mysterious assassins. But before I could do the dirty deed, Sheila asked me to slay Demavend. The gods had smiled upon me. I couldn't believe my luck. Here I'd been trying to figure out how to frame Sheila, and now all I needed was to carry out her orders and follow through.
Well, that seems kinda... yeah.
Where'd you get your information about the Lodge?
From the Emperor and Ävjɛd de Rideau, the Emperor's chief spy. And I believe they got it out of Yennefer.
She recovered her memory?
Nah. I'd never claim she informed on her friends consciously. I expect they found a way to tap into her memory in spite of her amnesia, and without her knowing it. There was a sorcerer present when I was questioned. A young, proud intelligence officer. Whatever the case, they gave me a list of the sorceresses in the Lodge. Only Ymir, Ävjɛd, and I were present. Only we knew of the mission.
Well, Ymir seems to be very smart.
How do you manage to slay Demavend?
Sheila's magic. I mean, she could give us the king's every move. His habits, the positions of the palace guards, anything. All we had to do was navigate the labyrinth and land the final blow. Besides, she had plenty of gold for the preparations. Greased palms abundantly. It had all the makings of a cakewalk. But it's never that easy. We barely avoided our pursuers. And we wouldn't have if not for Iorveth's Scoia'tael, another of Sheila's ideas. With Iorveth's elves, not only did we cut down Demavend, but traveling with them put us out of the Lodge's reach. We could calmly plan Foltest's and Hensel's assassinations.
Well, Hansel didn't die, so, you know.
How did you know Foltest would come to the monastery's solar?
Iorveth and I planned Foltest's murder. The King of Temeria would have to deal with the Lavalette sooner or later, and he made no secret of it. I was sure he'd want to recover his bastard children in the process. And where do they take the children when a castle's under siege? I had to become a monk, but I couldn't just arrive at the monastery and claim I'd seen the light. Not very believable. So one of Arion's patrols out in the forests happened on a Scoia'tael unit torturing a helpless monk. Arion's brave men drove off the elves and I found shelter in the monastery.
No one noticed you had no wounds?
I paid the monk who treated me a lot of orens to stay silent. Actually, it was only a loan, because I killed him later.
Oh, of course.
Only the dead can keep a secret. Then all I had to do was wait for the situation to develop. When I saw you enter the chamber with Foltest, I thought I might fail. Luckily, you failed. To recognize an old friend.
Well, not his fault. With his amnesia and all.
When did you decide to get rid of Iorveth?
As soon as I realized I couldn't manipulate him. A true fox, that one. He was so observant, so dangerous. I got the sense he might see through me at any moment.
You made a mistake. You were untouchable as long as the Scoia'tael were protecting you.
Maybe, but with Iorveth, my hands were tied. If I'd finished off Kieran...
But you didn't. And that allowed me to drive a wedge between you and Iorveth. I forced you to flee.
And I let you live. You know I could have killed you. You're forgetting.
No, I remember.
Sheila came to Flotsam looking for
So
you.
Sheila was looking for you when she came to Flotsam.
Mm-hmm. She thought she was still in control and wanted to get rid of me. I'd bet my eyes that she thought I'd lost my mind, or that Ävjɛd was manipulating me.
And the North descended deeper into chaos.
Exactly. There was just one problem. You.
Of course.
I could have killed you in the Elven ruins. Thing is, you weren't really my enemy.
Of course.
You screwed up with Henselt.
Sabrina's curse tore that down. First off, we got holed up in that hideout in the ravines. Then Sheila showed up and started watching Henselt like he was her own ass. By that time, his death was no longer necessary. Fate had smiled upon us again. I learned of the summit and the efforts to reconstitute the council and conclave. The ideal setting for the mission's grand finale.
Well, but you didn't really kill any other kings, did you? Why did you wait for me? What was all about? What was the aim?
Care to tell me?
Oh, no, we had that.
Not.
The whole picture. Oh, well, that was it. Okay. Oh, so and all that's left for me is now to finish
I'm
this.
done talking. Let's finish this.
We've done a lot of talking.
Any vodka left in that bottle?
A swig apiece. Here.
I hope my super armor and my super sword will actually make a difference in this fight. Otherwise, I might be screwed again, because the last time I remember fighting him, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. I died like a million times.
The Imperial army is probably crossing the Yaruga as we speak. Pure pandemonium will ensue. The North's finished. Time to go south, where the good life awaits.
You're a fool, Letho.
Is the North really
Both you
finished?
and your Emperor are forgetting one thing. Misfortune brings people together. Very shortly, the North could be united like never before, thanks to you. But that's just not my concern anymore.
I was
I'm
thinking
not
like
your
that.
foe. I never was. Let me walk away and I will. You'll never see me again. Force me to fight, and this time I'll kill you.
Let me walk away. Give it your best shot. Go somewhere far away. See, he did all the scheming and things, but other than getting me framed for... getting Geralt framed for the assassination, he didn't really do much. That concerns Geralt greatly, because screw the kings of the north, south, whatever, they should do what they want. There's gonna be things happening no matter what. And he's a smart guy. And I don't see any reason to off him. Oh, am I exonerated is he exonerated for killing Foltest? I think is he? He is, isn't he? I don't know. You know what? I'm going with my gut.
I've learned all I wanted to know. I can feel the memories coming back. Your death won't change a thing. Go where you will.
Just like that. No threats. No words of wisdom.
You going or not?
Farewell, Geralt.
Is somebody watching? No, don't skip. I don't want to skip. I hope I didn't skip. See? Everything's fine. I think. So what's happening now? Where are you going? What are you looking at? Oh, opening the door? Ooh, look at that! Ladybug! Hello, Ladybug! And there he goes. And the door! Open it! It's funny that one person can open that door. I mean, okay, he's the Witcher, so he might be extraordinarily strong, but still. That's not how doors like that used to work in the Middle Ages. But then again, we're in a fantasy Middle Age. So, everything goes, I guess. More or less. Old friends to be
continued. The Witcher
continued.
traveled far and wide in search of the Kingslayers. Along the way, he had met both the righteous and scoundrels, Bernard Laredo amongst the latter.
And he's still alive, sadly.
Laredo sold Flotsam to Kedwin and scattered the local non-humans to the four winds.
But I saved the elves, so, you know, there's that.
Flotsam became a military base. Its civilian population was resettled.
Damn. Well,
In Eddard, the Witcher witnessed Saskia the Dragon Slayer achieve a great victory. The Pontar Valley, previously Upper Eddard, became a promised land for outcasts who dared dream of freedom.
that sounds like a
Even
good thing.
old Zoltan Chive came to believe in this land of bliss. Yet dark times approached for the architects of the New Order. Dark clouds had been gathering over Temeria since Foltest's death.
Oh, that
Stripped
doesn't
of
look
its
good.
king, the land was like a rich cloth which nobles began to shred. These minor scavengers, however, scurried off in fear when true predators reached out for their prize. The summit at kä min sealed the fate of Foltest's realm, when Radovid of Redania and Henselt of Kedwin divided it between them.
Okay. Great.
Years
So,
before,
he
Geralt
goes
of Rivia
first.
had witnessed the fall of the Council and Conclave of Mages. The summit in kä min re-established both bodies. Their founders sacrificing Sheila de Tanzerville and her accomplices. Yet Radovid also required humility and loyalty from the proud mages, but this did not sit well with all of them. It was
Did
a
it not?
time of great uncertainty, of rape accomplished by royal decree. Yet as troubled as the days seemed, we, who had in some way shaped the world's fate, finally received some respite. Zoltan resumed the quest for his beloved's hand, and I laid my head in the laps of the muses. Who
Sure
could
you
have
did.
known this tempest which had ravaged the north was but a harbinger of darker days, and the preamble to an entirely new tale of Geralt of Rivia.
Man, he cannot catch a break, can he? Woo! View the credits to see the game ending? What? On the prose, it's based on the prose of Andrzej Sapkowski. Okay. View the credits to see the end game. Which we are going to do. This was The Witcher 2. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I enjoyed it immensely. I mean, I enjoyed the first part, really, but the second part, it was... the story, it just... everything became so intricate, and look how cool it is that we now know that the Wild Hunt is actually elves from another realm, from a realm where elves were not, you know, massacred and nothing, and that is like, it's like an elven king trying to, you know, do whatever he wants in this realm, and he's from a parallel universe, or from just another world, or something. I don't know. I guess parallel universe. What? This looks like he killed Henselt. Did he? Is that actually showing us what happened? The hell? Maybe it is. Anyway, that was a great game. Thanks for watching if you did. Thanks for commenting if you did. And something important. The Witcher 3 is coming out in a week. If I done the math correctly, it should come out in pretty much exactly 7 days, unless they're gonna postpone it again, which I don't think. And we are gonna play it. So I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna start uploading right on the 19th of May, right when it comes out. At least when it comes out here, where I am. I'm gonna upload videos. I'm gonna play through with you guys, hopefully. Because I got my hands on a key. And with getting my hands on a key, I mean I did something that I normally never do with games, which is I pre-purchased The Witcher 3. Now, this is pretty much the only game I feel comfortable saying you can pre-purchase it, because basically pre-purchasing games isn't a hugely good thing. Like, there are seldom exceptions, but the thing is, if you pre-purchase a game, then you don't have to. The game company doesn't have to. I think it happened with Destiny, for example. It was so hyped up that so many people pre-purchased it that they really didn't have to care whether or not the game's good in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it is not bad, but it didn't hold up. It did really not hold up to the hype it had generated. And a lot of people were thinking after they got to play it, well, it is good, but I kind of regret, having pre-purchased it for such a huge amount of money. And you can't just take it on faith that the game is going to be good, because it might not be, especially if it's the first of a series. The Witcher 3 is the third one, and the second one is already good, so you can infer that the third one is going to be good too, but that's still not enough reason to pre-purchase a game, because you can still be sorely disappointed. In the case of The Witcher 3, we have at least I waited long enough to see actual gameplay footage and things like that would make me think, okay, that this is gonna be a good game. And the fact that they postponed it because it was supposed to come out in January, and then they said, okay, no, February, and then they said, okay, May, also makes me think it's gonna be a good game, because it seems like they said, okay, we're not gonna just throw it out in January no matter what comes, but where it's not finished or it's not the way we want it to be, so we're gonna take a few more months to polish it and then bring it out. So that is another reason why I chose to pre-purchase that game. Oh yeah, and an example for if you're thinking, okay, if the other games have been good, the next one in the row has to be good, and therefore I can't just pre-purchase it blindly. Not true. I don't know whether or not you played it, but I certainly enjoy the Final Fantasy series greatly. And if you remember, when 13 came out, when 13 came out, it wasn't even. I didn't even have to think. I just pre-purchased the collector's edition, and boy was that a mistake. 13 is such a shit example for Final Fantasy. It's not a bad game, it's just a bad Final Fantasy. There was so much missing that other Final Fantasies had, that have just people were disappointed, including me. So you can't take it on faith that it's gonna be good just because it's the next one over row. Another thing why it's not good to pre-purchase games is, you remember the time? Maybe you don't. Maybe I'm just too old. But you remember the time when you got to play a demo of a game before it came out, to actually decide whether or not you wanted to buy it? Because so many people are pre-purchasing games, there's really no need for the developers to, not the developers are not really to fault, most of the time it's the publishers who are, the dicks in the matter. They don't really have to bring out a demo, because they do a lot of advertising, and then so many people just pre-purchase that they go, well, we don't need a demo out there that potentially turns people off the game, because our ad campaign worked fine and people are buying it like crazy. So, before the game even came out, which is just not a smart idea in my opinion. So sorry for that rant. All I meant to say was pre-purchasing is, I'm not for pre-purchasing. I think pre-purchasing is a bad idea in general. but I feel comfortable enough to make the suggestion, not the suggestion, I feel confident enough to tell you that if you feel like you want to buy The Witcher 3, pre-purchase The Witcher 3, go for it. I don't think we will be disappointed. I would be very surprised if we were disappointed, because it looks so good and it looks so interesting, and not just the trailers they gave us, but the gameplay footage that you can find on YouTube and all looks just really fun. And so, you know, turn in next week on, yeah, well, just in an entirely a week, in 1 week exactly, I will upload the first video of The Witcher 3, if not something comes in between. So I will do this, except for when something severe happens, like my computer explodes or I get hit by a car or something. Then I might not upload an episode on the 19th, but other than that, just expect an episode for The Witcher 3 to come out. In the meantime, I've got a lot of other things. First of all, I have the rest of ką min, which is a game I greatly enjoyed, and I put up the first 6 episodes, and I'm gonna spoil you right now. It's another 6 and then it's over. It's only 12 episodes, and it has a great soundtrack and it's a great game. I just didn't upload more episodes because nobody was watching it, and so I thought, you know, I kind of have time to really go into The Witcher, and I don't know. Anyway, I've got ką min. I might be inclined to upload a few episodes of what's it called? Hotline Miami 2. Although that's a very hard game, so don't expect me to get very far. I'm gonna try my best, and I enjoy that game a lot. It's just a lot of fun to run around, and it's so fast-paced, and I'm not good at fast-paced games, so I might just not make it. Anyway, there will be stuff coming out between this episode and next week, The Witcher 3. So look out for that, and look out for The Witcher 3 definitely. That'll be a first one for me too. Oh no, wait. Yes, it will be first one for me in terms of a AAA title. I did start to... Actually, no, it will be a first one for me to get out a video right when the game comes out. That'll be a first one. That'll be... I'm interested to see how the response is of you guys, if you're gonna watch it, or because the response for The Witcher 2 was really good. I very much enjoyed that. Just thank you. See, did I say that? Did I already say that? If I didn't, sorry. For everybody who watched, thank you very much for watching. It really means a lot to me, and everybody who commented and does comment or pushes the like button. It's just it I don't know. It's feels like a good thing, doesn't it? I'm not sure that The Witcher 3 is gonna be in 10... No, I think it's gonna be in 1080. My computer should be able to handle that. The requirements, the system requirements, I read them through. They're very high, but then again, CD Projekt RED is erring on the side of caution on things like that. So they say, okay, if the recommended settings for the highest settings, or to be able to enjoy the game in all its glory, are really high, but they're just going, okay, if you have that setting, it's gonna run smoothly on the highest setting, and it might run smoothly on the highest setting if you have lower if your specs aren't as high as they put it, or that they put it on there on the description. It's just, I have the feeling they just want to be on the safe side. See, the thing is, CD Projekt RED just seems like one of the very few developers. I think it's because I'm not quite sure. Don't crucify me if that's wrong, but I think they're developer and publisher. So they are developing the game. CD Projekt RED is the developer as well as the publisher of The Witcher 2, which is why something like this can happen, where they say, okay, let's wait the 4 months and really bring out the polished game. Because if you look at it like Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed, I'm pretty sure that they just said, okay, Assassin's Creed, what was the last one? The one in France? Assassin's Creed Unity, yes. I'm pretty sure that the developers were, okay, the PC version still has a lot of bugs, and we're not ready yet, and Ubisoft just said, fuck you, sorry language, they just said, screw you, it's gonna go out now. Because we said it's gonna go out now, and it's gonna go out now, no matter what. Maybe. Or maybe the developers also didn't care, I don't know. Apparently the console version worked fine when it came out, and the PC port not so much. So I'm not sure about this, but it has happened in the past that publishers were forcing the developers to release the game on the agreed upon time, but the game would have needed a few more months to be developed, to be less buggy and shitty, and they weren't given that time, which is a bad thing as a whole, because it seems to me like a bad decision, and it seems to me like something natural that you wouldn't, or that you would give them time to iron out those bugs, because if they bring out the game and it's completely bugged out, then the damage is done. The people are gonna absolutely hate on the game, and it's not gonna be popular. And then it's on the developers to fix the bugs as fast as possible to kind of do damage control as best as they can. And the faster they're fixing the bugs, the more damage control they're doing, but still it's just damage control. Instead of just waiting a bit longer until the game comes out, and then therefore bringing the game out that's not completely buggy and not pissing the people off, like it was with the X series from Egosoft? I'm not quite sure. Last one was Rebirth? I think Rebirth is what it was called. It completely tanked, because when it came out it was unplayable, and it used to be unplayable, or large, it had really crippling bugs and problems for a long time, and where the developers given more time, this thing could have turned out quite differently. Maybe, possibly, I don't know, it could be. I don't understand the logic behind this whole bringing out games no matter the cost. If the pre-purchases are high enough, I guess, then the publisher already has gotten its money worth, and just says, okay, if the game tanks, it doesn't really matter, because so many people have pre-purchased the game that we have covered the production of the game, and we have made a winning, and screw what happens afterwards. That could be an option too. I don't know. Do some publishers work that way? Probably. There's a lot of not so nice things happening in the gaming scene I think there's another thing is, do you remember? I'm just rambling on now. So because the credits are still running, we're gonna let the credits run, and then in the end we're gonna see probably gonna see a sequence, at least, that if what they said there is true. You're welcome to just fast forward the footage till the end. Otherwise you can listen to me ramble. Because another thing I wanted to say is that's wrong with games, or a problem that we have with games is we have this whole crowdfunded games thing, which is good, which is a good thing, but it has its problems in that it has happened quite a few times now that a game is being crowdfunded and crowdfunded with much more money than they actually asked for, and then somehow those developers manage to completely fuck up and either not finish the game or give a really shitty version of the game with a lot of bugs, or just not deliver what they promised, or don't deliver the game at all. That's a possibility too. With the Yogscast game, for example, if anyone was following that, the Yogscast game received way more funding than they asked for, and then they fucked around for 1 or 2 years, or 2 or 3 years, and then they just gave up. And you gotta ask yourself, what happened to that money? How did they screw up so badly? Where did they screw up? Did they screw up in asking the amount in asking the amount of money? Did they ask the wrong amount of money? And even with so and so much more amount of the money, they still weren't able to deliver as promised? Or did they just, and I think that's what happened with the Yogscast game, did they just promise something they couldn't deliver because they couldn't deliver it, because they weren't up to the task? I don't know. It's just, there's a problem of being left out in the cold as someone who pledged. But that was, the crowdfunding is more or less still in its infancy. So those are bugs that are gonna work itself out. People are gonna be more careful about what they're actually investing their money in. They're gonna be probably more careful what they invest their money in, and maybe check the project a little more carefully, which could end up having games not being created that could have been created to crowdfunding, but the people who wanted to do it just don't have the street cred to do it, to get the support. On the other hand, we have Double Fine, who with Broken Age promised something again, got way more money, thought they were gonna do a way bigger game, and instead of just delivering what they promised, tried to deliver something 3 times bigger or something, and screwed that up, and that was a whole disaster on another level. And with Alpha Base 1, Space Base DF9, I think, was another project, which also went kind of bad. This one may have not gotten enough crowdfunding, I'm not quite sure. But they were actually honest with that one in saying, okay, it turned out while we were developing it that it wasn't gonna produce, that it wasn't gonna bring in enough money to make it worthwhile, so we just put the shitty alpha state we had out there. Which is a dick move, by the way. It's a total dick move, but at least somewhat understandable from a business standpoint. But others don't give an excuse at all. Oh, and that's the crowdfunding thing, and then there's the early access thing. On Steam, you have the early access thing, which in effect is nothing. It's also kind of crowdfunding, because they're indie games and it happens a lot with indie games that come out in early access, and then through early access they're trying to pull the money they need to keep developing this game. And it has happened more than once that early access games just took the money and ran. There was a game, how was it called? It was supposed to be with dinosaurs and open in the wake of Minecraft. There were so many games. Who were trying to what's the word? We're trying to, you know, profit from the sandbox open world genre that Minecraft has kind of opened up to the wide public. Yeah, it's kind of wild too. And so many ambitious projects, and a lot of them you should know from the small team they said they were and the ambitious things they wanted to do, that it's not gonna be anything. It's not gonna get done that way. But you're still hoping for it, and so I haven't made that particular mistake, but I have friends who have made that mistake, invested in early access games that turned out to tank. So I've been a bit more. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest in early access games. So if it's really promising, and a lot of them actually do turn out good, it's just that you have to understand some things. Early access means early access. It literally means, you know, you're getting in on the ground floor, and a lot of people kind of can't wrap their head around that the development of a game takes years. 2 years, 3 years, and then in that time you are playing an unfinished product. And they're being pushy about it. They don't have patience in that regard. People don't have patience in that regard, which is probably also a reason why AAA titles with the publisher come out on the desired date, because people throw a hissy fit if the release date gets changed, which is ridiculous, because there's so many games out there that you could play in the meantime that you really can't just give the developers that little bit more time to finish up their game. Anyway, people are impatient, and like I said, there are a lot of early access games that you can invest your money in, and they're gonna be good, and if you have the patience, it's gonna happen. But there are a lot of, especially open world sandbox games, who are never gonna go anywhere. There is this early access alpha stage where you're gonna buy in, and it's gonna change a little bit. It might get a few updates and so on and so forth, but it's not gonna be what it's promised to be. And I don't wanna say any examples, because those games might or might not tank, and I can't predict that. But I have a few candidates in my mind that I think are not gonna make it to the stage that they promised. And I know for a fact of a few games who are not gonna manage to get where they're promised to be. But I kind of sorta, yeah. Well, there is this, like I said, there's this dinosaur game, but it's not. I think it's no longer on Steam, where the developers literally took the money and went somewhere. Nobody has heard of them for ages, and there are other sandbox games like that. Then there is a game, I think it's called something with ocean. I'm not quite sure what it's called. Where something happened that kind of happened too, where the main developer, well, not the main developer, but the programmer just said goodbye, and now this product is kind of sort of doomed to fail. The person who had the vision and who had the story and everything, the vision, and who is the artist, is still keeping on and is learning to program now and is trying to finish his own product, but And kudos to him, and he may manage to do it, and that would be great, and I'd be all for that, but I kind of sort of don't expect it to make it. But like I said, that's a game. Don't just ignore that for now. Maybe not invest your money just yet, but see how it develops, and it could still be. It still could become a great game. Who knows? Who knows? Right? It could still become a great game. Man, I went off on a tangent about games. I think I started with my problems with pre-purchases right now. I went completely off the rails there. You just feel free to ignore all that, or just stop the YouTube video. Now it's too late. Now you listen to all of that. But maybe I'll put in an annotation at the end of, or at the beginning of the credits that says, okay, if you don't want to hear me rambling over the credits, just fast forward to minute so and so. I could do that. I probably will do that, because now it's already 46 minutes and counting. So people are gonna be a bit annoyed if I don't. Oh, yes, there it is. Look at it, a rabbit. Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. What are we gonna see? There's a guy gathering firewood. Or he's gathering wood. I can't infer that it's firewood. I'm thinking he's collecting firewood, but I can't be sure. Especially if he gets so easily distracted by a rabbit. Or is he? Yep, he got easily distracted by a rabbit and just hunted that thing too. Did you need to do that? Maybe. No. Having a rabbit is probably a nice kind of change of pace. Instead of deer or something? Oh, look at that. That does not look safe as a bridge. I wouldn't cross that bridge. Look at this. Look at the what's it called? Oh, that doesn't look good. Maybe dodge? Something or another? Uh-oh. Ooh. Are you fine? Oh, you don't look fine. But why did he stand there like a statue? Why didn't he just run back? Oh, shit. Okay, well, that's... Was that your village? Oh yeah, it looks like it. Ay. Oh, whoa! That guy's missing his head! Oh, that is the Novgorodian invasion fleet, and that is quite impressive. Oh. Uh-oh. They're gonna overrun the north, aren't they? That doesn't look good for the north. The world as we know it nears its end, yet the past remains the key to the future. The past remains the key to the future? Huh? Sure, whatever you say. So I guess that's it. So, thanks for watching. Please comment and do subscribe. And don't forget to turn in next week at the exact same time. Not at the exact same time. Don't forget to turn in next week where The Witcher 3 will start. In right on time for when it comes out, at least in my region. And don't forget to turn in every day in between, because there are still going to be videos coming out, not of The Witcher, but Like I said, I've got other things coming up. So, please stay with me, and bye!